Uh-oh, Disney, it looks like you have some splaining to do. There are new claims that Disney may have manipulated polling for the last U.S. presidential election at a scale that we have never seen before. Today, we'll tell you what's being claimed online, including new quotes from the Harris campaign saying they never saw what the public polling from ABC News just happened to be saying. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video of excellence coming to your way from a studio in somewhere sunny USA, where the sun truly is streaming down hot, hot, hot. We hope you're doing fine. And happy weekend. Stay cool, get some water, and let's dive in right now with the like button click from you. Out of Rasmussen Reports, it says the Graders. Disney reportedly invested over $100 million in a decade of annual losses at the now defunct FiveThirtyEight. And if you know anything about polling, that is the conglomerate that was being run at first by Nate Zilver, then sold off, or well, he was let go. And it says, for what reason? It says, compare these names to the names that showed fake leads for Harris last fall. The overall is evident, even for fake polling statisticians. All right, now as we dive in, folks, I got to say this. Now, we've got to put that $100 million slightly into the rumor category. And the reason for that is I've done some research here, and I'm sure that Rasmussen is fantastic in their analysis, so I'm not questioning it. But independently, I cannot corroborate the $100 million. That said, I also don't see any reason that it would not be true because, well, it costs more than a few dollars if you are going to fund something like FiveThirtyEight. Now, you may be asking, what the heck is FiveThirtyEight? And what does this have to do with trying to influence, perhaps, an election? And what does it have to do with if the election didn't go Disney's way, dropping off FiveThirtyEight? Well, let's hit the Wayback Machine for just a minute, and we'll dive in to what Rasmussen is claiming and show you whether or not it's true, accurate, partial, whatever. We'll go there. Going back to ABC News, which again, ABC News is a Disney outlet. ABC News reported on April 17th, 2018, FiveThirtyEight joins ABC News. Nate Zilver and the team moved from ESPN to ABC. Now, what you need to see here is that this polling conglomerate, that we'll explain in just a minute, this polling conglomerate was part of ABC News, as declared by ABC News. So there's no way of getting out of this. This was considered to be part of the news division as definitively declared by said news division of Disney. It says today, ABC News announced it has reached an agreement in principle to acquire the renowned data journalism organization, FiveThirtyEight from ESPN. With a heightened interest in political news, FiveThirtyEight's distinctive style of data-literate reporting will fortify ABC News political coverage, adding comprehensive statistical analysis and data visualization, et cetera, et cetera. Now, later on, they would part ways with Nate Zilver, who was essentially FiveThirtyEight, right? He's synonymous, essentially, but he was let go. Let's go now to what happened to FiveThirtyEight. And if we go there, we're going to go to The Guardian. And you can see that years later, political poll news site FiveThirtyEight to close amid larger shuttering across ABC and Disney. Disney is reportedly cutting staff across ABC News Group and its entertainment network as media layoffs continue. And this one came out, we can see over here on the side, from Marina Dunbar, March 5th of this year. So this has not been long ago. This is not ancient history. It says the popular political polls news and analysis website FiveThirtyEight is being shut down as part of a broader shuttering effort across ABC News and Disney. Disney is reportedly cutting 200 positions across ABC News. And guess what? That meant that all 15 employees of FiveThirtyEight were given their pink slips from Bob Iger. So we've talked about this. We've had Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen on the channel to talk about this. So what's new here? Well, folks, what's new here is what's below this. First of all, it says, compare these names to the names that showed fake leads for Harris last fall. Okay? Take a look at this. Now, if we take a look at what ABC News, FiveThirtyEight, how they were ranking these pollsters going in, and remember, this is Disney. This is Disney. Disney owns ABC News. Disney is ranking, the Walt Disney Company was literally ranking pollsters. And if we look, the New York Times, ABC News, Marquette, YouGov, folks, these pollsters missed it. They missed it. Look at these. They gave Seltzer an A+. They gave the New York Times an A+. They gave ABC News themselves an A+. Let me tell you something. These pollsters missed it completely. Now, you'll notice at the top it says June 2024 update. These were grading scores that the Disney company itself used to make sure that there was an orthodoxy of polling regarding the U.S. election.
People have posited, well, a lot of these news organizations were getting USAID money, and some of them absolutely were. I think if you look at Politico, those overpriced Politico Pro subscriptions are a meaningful portion of their revenue. I don't think that was what was happening here. But we know that higher ups in ABC and Disney have connections to the Democrat Party and political ambitions, and it's very powerful to be able to put out favorable news for the regime. And I'm not saying Democrat or Republican because I think Republicans use access as a tool as well. And I think that we're starting to see that the problems in Washington, D.C. are not Republican Democrat. It's more like uniparty versus Trump, basically. And so, to have a really powerful gatekeeping tool when you want to get your friends into office, they kicked us out of the aggregate. They didn't want even people knowing that Rasmussen reports existed. Now, Nate Zilver had already left, and they passed it on to this fanatic, G. Elliott Morris. Literally, ABC put a fanatic in charge of one of the most well-known polling aggregators out there, and they immediately proceeded to kick us out, even though I'll show you, put my screen back up, I'll show you what FiveThirtyEight thinks of us. This is a stack rank of pollster accuracy in 2020 done by FiveThirtyEight. This is their own analytics. And it has us 5th there. I tell you, we put out a lot more polling than everybody above us. And 3% ain't bad, but we beat. Look at how many people in the industry we beat. And I can tell you the number this time around is pretty close to 1%. So we even improved quite a bit.
And here's where the news is today, because some of you who have paid close attention to this, you already knew that. Many of you did not. We had to do the primer, though, to get here. And where is here? Well, again, out of Rasmussen. And by the way, the reason we're using Rasmussen is because they, one, were wronged because they weren't even allowed to be in the grading system at all, kicked completely out by Disney, which was trying to run this roughshod FiveThirtyEight, creating a system of orthodoxy and thereby saying that Rasmussen wasn't even a legitimate pollster. They're not even allowed to be inside the grading system. But the second reason that we're using Rasmussen today is because Rasmussen has a quote that I think goes right to the throat of the House of Mouse. Here's what it says. Harris campaign insider David Plouffe confirmed they were never ahead. And there were these public polls that came out in late September, early October, showing us with leads that we never saw. And that is why Rasmussen says that they were blacklisted from FiveThirtyEight. Let me say it again. Disney apparently would only allow in pollsters that were showing something separate, different, not accurate, not reflecting the reality that even the Harris campaign was seeing. Now, we could all say this is water under the bridge. We could just move on, right? Old news. And I say, no. I want to know who at ABC News and higher up. Was it Dana Walden, for example, who is Kamala Harris's bestie, who runs ABC? Who exactly said, we're going to pick, we're going to favor, we're going to curate the pollsters of America who will be allowed and represented in our grading system? And who allowed this where preferential treatment was given to those who appear to have been grading the Harris campaign in an inaccurate way? Because once again, let there be no confusion. David Plouffe from the Harris campaign says they never were in the lead in their own polling. Now here's what Real Clear Politics was showing, right? Real Clear Politics, which is not FiveThirtyEight, but is, shall we say, adjacent, another conglomerate, showed all the way from essentially August until just before the election that Harris was leading, and not by a little, but by a lot. Question then is, okay, well, if Real Clear Politics and 538 were doing that, was it intended to change the election? Was it intended to create a media narrative that would thereby drive people to change, even if just by 1% in the electorate, their voting pattern? Because people want to vote for a winner, right? Right? 538, by the way, again, a Disney organization, had Harris winning over Trump. Disney, that's Disney, folks. You can see here more. The Monmouth poll, right? That was graded with that A+. We'll go back to it again. The Monmouth poll had Harris winning. And guess what? If you go to who had it right, you're going to see these red bubbles. Rasmussen. Now, how do we know that Rasmussen did better than these others? I mean, look at this. This is crazy. New York Post +4 for Harris, right? Consult +5 for Harris. New York Times Siena +3 for Harris. I'm jumping around. I apologize for that. I'm jumping around a little bit. NBC +5 for Harris. ABC, that's Disney again, +4 for Harris. Now, we're not here to say that missing a poll is some kind of, it's not a scandal. It's not illegal. It's incompetence if you miss the poll, right? You shouldn't be doing that poll anymore because you missed so badly. What we're saying instead is that Rasmussen is claiming that Disney spent a lot of money. And you can quibble with the $100 million, okay? Maybe it was $80 million. Maybe it was $120 million. I don't know. But over 10 years or whatever it was, I can see how it adds up to something like that. I can imagine that, right? That's the only part of this video that I think lands into the rumor territory. And I do. Although I greatly respect everything that comes out of Rasmussen. But that said, Disney is the one. Disney is the company that was taking all of these polling companies and then grading them. Disney did this. Disney graded these. And ABC News, which was so far out of what reality was, of course, graded themselves. They got their own grade and they graded themselves an A+. You would grade yourself an A+, right? No, you wouldn't even do that. You would grade yourself something lower. You wouldn't want to seem that braggadocious. You wouldn't want to seem that smarmy. No, don't be smarmy. Word of the day, smarmy. Listen, they graded these Monmouth down there, University A. You gotta love it. They graded these pollsters according, it looks like, whether this was generated externally or internally, consciously or subconsciously, based on preferred political outcomes. And the preferred political outcome was not the reality. And when this didn't work, when this didn't move the political opinion, it turns out that doing that doesn't succeed. And maybe it does a little, but it didn't do it enough. What happened? Once it was no longer efficient to do so, once they found out this did not achieve a political point, they shuttered down 538 and said enough of that. But this was all part of ABC News. And here's what I wonder. Here's what I wonder about why Bob Iger and the Walt Disney Company have gone quieter when it comes to the TDS. They're watching CBS in an awful spot with the Trump team, right? Disney has already paid out something like $14 million, maybe more, in lawsuits that they've had to settle with Trump. Trump is claiming that CBS interfered with the last election. How much more did ABC News do by engineering however this polling system worked? And is that the reason that Disney closed 538 as fast as they possibly could to avoid the scrutiny, the governmental scrutiny, and maybe the legal scrutiny coming their way? It's an interesting thing to think about, eh? And we only know it because Rasmussen is out there right now taking it to the House of Mouse, calling them out directly and showing with the statistics that what Disney was claiming through ABC News was not what either campaign believed was happening in reality. All right, folks, that is the video for today. Thank you for coming our way. It is a pleasure every time we get the opportunity to share a little additional truth with a capital T with you. As we get ready to leave, click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about this. And folks, I hope that you can see me doing my best to stay out of the politics of this and rather looking at the implications for ABC News and for Disney and why they made a business decision of shutting this thing down as fast as they possibly could once the election changed. I'm trying not to get into any policy. I'm trying not to tell you yay or nay on anything that comes down to the world politico. I just want you to know what's going on with the House of Mouse, Bob Iger, Disney, maybe Dana Walden. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Oh hey, did you hear that WDW Pro will be posting one video every weekday morning on the That Park Place YouTube channel all through the month of July?
Really? No, I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah, it's like a promo thing for That Park Place and a chance for him to get back to his theme park roots.
Wait a minute. Is Pro getting all sentimental? Is Pro actually a woman? Doesn't matter. I already turned off my notifications for the Pro channel, because he does like 15 videos a day.
He does like 4 videos a day. 8:30 a.m., 12:30, 4:30, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You really shouldn't turn off the notifications.
Maybe, and maybe I'll check out WDW Pro on That Park Place every weekday in July. But I kinda doubt it.
You really don't have anything better to do.
Sure I do. I'm a very busy troll.
Like what?
Who do you think actually keeps giving those thumb drives to Mike Zero?
Oh no.
Okay, Coco. Let's go over the line just one more time.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Zero. I found this abandoned Lucasfilm rewritable CD in an abandoned Blockbuster video dumpster. With a half-burned carton of cigs and a gold Wilton, I can't say this.